today with Dr. Jay Coakley, Professor Emeritus of Sociology at the University of Colorado, Colorado Springs. Dr. Coakley has, for nearly 5 decades, done research on the connections between sports, culture, and society. His book, Sports and Society, Issues and Controversies, which is now in its 13th edition, along with adaptations and translations, is used in universities worldwide. He continues his work to ensure the sport participation is a source of enjoyment and development for young people around the world, and seeks to make sports more democratic and humane for people of all ages. Jay, it is such an honor to be here with you today.
Well, it's great to be with you.
We're going to start off at the beginning and find out just a little bit more about you. Tell us a little bit about young Jay and how he became interested in sport.
Yeah, well, young Jay was very physically active, and I was fortunate enough to grow up at a time when parents didn't have a short leash on their kids. And I was the oldest of 6 in an Irish Catholic family in Chicago, basically revolving around my involvement in physical activities and movement and sports. And as I got older, I started playing some organized sports, although they weren't as organized back then as they are now. And for every hour that I spent playing in an organized sport, I probably spent 15 or 20 hours playing in informal games and just spontaneous plays. So sports were a part of who I was growing up. And even though I went to a high school that didn't have varsity sport teams, I was part of a group that organized sport teams, and we played in the Chicago Public League and the Catholic League. And I ended up going to another high school during my senior year, played basketball, did well enough to get a number of scholarships to college, went to what is now Regis University in Denver, was recruited by Joe B. Hall, who later on went on to win national championships at Kentucky, and played at Regis for 4 years, and then went to the University of Notre Dame, where sport was obviously a part of the culture. I was involved in the graduate program in sociology, so I was attuned to what was going on around me, and I kept my eyes and ears open about how sport was integrated into the culture at the University of Notre Dame, South Bend, and the rest of the society, even though there were no courses on the sociology of sport back then.
So what exactly drew you to sociology?
Well, when I went to Regis, I wanted to major in pre-med, and the coaches quickly told me, first day when I went over to the coach's office, that our practices were in the afternoon, and that the labs at this relatively small school were all in the afternoon, the lab courses. So I was going to have to change my major. Well, I was a little bit upset, but, I was 18 years old and flexible. So I kept my options open, and I took an intro sociology course, and decided that was an interesting topic. It related to my past experiences growing up in Chicago, and having all those ethnic and groups around me, and the topic of race was important as I was growing up. I had 4 sisters, so I was attuned to gender issues a little bit. So this kind of fit who I was. So I started taking sociology.
And why sociology versus psychology?
I wasn't as self-introspective as maybe you and many others, by the way, but sociology was the approach that kind of fit the way I looked at the world. Now, with that said, I minored in psychology, and I took a lot of social psychology courses as well. So basically, I combined the two, and it gave me a pretty good background for trying to figure out what was going on around me and with my friends and in society as a whole.
It's interesting. I think it's one of those things where they go very much hand in hand. And to link the two, I know I have found, because I've recently been kind of introduced more into in-depth sociology, and it broadens your whole thinking, even in psychology, when you look at both together.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you on that. Although the way our disciplines are organized in many universities, it's very tough to combine the two in some kind of a meaningful way at the institutional level. You have to do that on a personal level. Sociology is the study of social worlds that people create, maintain, and change over time through their interaction with one another. And social worlds are basically those identifiable social realms within which people live their lives. And when we talk about sports sociology, what we're referring to is a study of the social worlds that are created, maintained, and changed around sport and in connection with sports. So what we're doing is using sports not just as a topic that we want to understand, but as a window through which we can learn more about the society and culture in which we live.